Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler video series videos I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there and try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. I sure hope I'm thirsty. And yeah, I am. I'm actually very thirsty. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there and try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering around about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. But what super cool shirt am I wearing for you today? Happens to be my cold shirt. Specifically from their A Different Kind of Pain album. It's a cool design, I like it. But, who's Cold, Different Kind of Pain, all that stuff, what's going on? So Cold is a band. They've worn different hats in terms of musical styling. Sometimes they're classified as nu metal. They've had like sort of dark grunge aspects to them. These days they're more sort of like an alternative rock band. I got into their stuff during their sort of nu metal period in my high school days with their albums 13 Ways to Bleed on Stage, still my favorite album of theirs. Different Kind of Pain was an album that came out a couple albums after that. Very different vibe than previous two albums they'd put out, but a very emotional, really deep, moving album. And I was fortunate enough to actually get to see it played in its entirety on stage as they were celebrating its 20th anniversary recently. I have seen Cold a number of times live. I have videos of those performances on my channel, just in case you want to check those out. If nothing else, I'd be more than happy to kind of point you in the right direction as far as their music goes, because I think they're an absolutely phenomenal band. But anyway, what am I trying for today, folks? What are we doing here? Why do I sure hope I'm thirsty? Well, folks, that's because I'm going to be reviewing some Pepsi, but that's kind of an odd glass. I got this at a Polish deli. This is Polish Pepsi. It's Polski. Yeah. And I was like, well, what is Polish Pepsi like? Is it the same thing as anything? And that's why, of course, I have to compare it to, American Pepsi. Now, the Polish Pepsi does have an advantage in that it's in a glass container, which is just superior to plastic, but the American one has the advantage it's a little bit colder since I picked this one up just a couple minutes ago. So let's get a thing for the thing, then we'll just go, and let's try these out. Let's try the Polish one first. Oh, I'm very thirsty. I had a delicious dinner from the Polish deli, so smells like Pepsi. Wow. That is very different. Right off the bat, it's much less carbonated. Much less carbonated. Like, without even trying the American one off, like, I can tell you. And that's something that I've encountered in my life, especially doing these reviews. Like, the level of carbonation preference varies greatly, depending where you go. And I have one person went over there and commented on one of my videos where I had a similar instance, said, well, shipping and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I've had sodas from foreign lands that were perfectly carbonated from wherever they came from. I don't think it fades out that quickly, especially in a glass container. It tastes thinner. Like, both in flavor and in mouthfeel. It just has a thinner, just everything about it just feels kind of weaker. But at the same time, let's go ahead and because I'm saying all this without doing a direct comparison. Miles different. This You drink this, first of all, that carbonation is tangible. It is there. It's a strong and delicious part of the experience. For me, I like a well-carbonated soda. So this isn't going to be much of a contest, if I'm being honest right now. But not only is the carbonation level, like, just again, the texture of it drinks heavier. And that could be good or bad for you depending. But like for me, this is obviously the type of soda I've grown up with, so I expect this from my Pepsi. But it's nice. It's a sweet cola. Famously, it's a little bit sweeter than Coca-Cola, which, some people prefer, some people don't. But I'm more of a Coke person, but not by miles. Like I'll do some Pepsi. I got no problem with Pepsi. Yeah, it has a richer flavor. Everything about it is just like stronger and more appealing. Like it's the same general flavor. They're obviously both still colas, but there's just more to the American one. It's again, there's a tangible quality to it. And they do taste a little bit different. And maybe that's, I don't know. Their ingredients list is weird, and I don't mean that offensively, but it's, not what I'm used to. So I can't tell you properly, like, it's mostly in Polish. So maybe that's like a cane sugar, but like I've had like Mexican Pepsi, and that uses cane sugar, and I love Mexican Pepsi. Bold, refreshing. Really, really nice. Again, kind of similar flavor profile, but almost along the lines of like a Diet Pepsi. I'm not saying it tastes exactly like Diet, but because it's so kind of whittled down in terms of what it's offering, it borders on like, it's like somewhere between like tasting like a Diet and like a normal Pepsi. It doesn't quite manage to. Okay, well, I mean, I came into this sort of figuring, this will be a competition for the ages. Not really. Clearly between the two, American Pepsi wins out for me. And I mean, yeah, obviously I'm biased. That's what I'm, used to having. But the thing is, like, I love trying international versions of, sodas that I'm familiar with, because sometimes I genuinely think they're a lot better than ours. Excuse me. In this case, though, that just does not taste like a great Pepsi to me. Like, that is almost like an off-brand type of soda. That's like kind of how the flavor comes through. And I'm guessing that, like I said, that's just a preference thing. That might just be more to, how Poland likes their Pepsi. And that's fine. None of it is a criticism against that. It's just for my personal taste. The Polish Pepsi, I mean, it gets the job kind of done, I guess, but, like, it's not, yeah. So, for me, America definitely wins this one. Go USA. But two questions have to be asked. Would I get either of these again? Would I recommend them? I would absolutely, yes and yes to the American one. I would absolutely get, American Pepsi again. I'm sure I will. That's kind of a no-brainer. As for the Polish one, no and kinda. Because here's the thing, for me, it really is underwhelming. It is, like, I cannot speak to the extent that it just really kind of went under the radar. Yeah, it's not for me. It's not terrible tasting, but it's so weak, and, like, I know what it's supposed to taste like. For me, I wouldn't get it again. But, now that said, if I'm recommending it, perhaps, because at the end of the day, there are people who like sodas with less carbonation, don't want them to be as heavy tasting. This could be an option for you if you like the taste of Pepsi, but don't like the carbonation and, again, sort of how heavy it tastes. This could be your jam. It's not mine, but good on you if it is. So it might be worth trying if you fall within those very specific parameters. 5 things before I get out of here. have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there and have yourselves a truly, I love Polish food-tastic rest of your life. I'm trying to save myself a little bit with the fine people of Poland after dunking on their Pepsi. Final two things. Number one, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But will you do if you can't do it all the time? I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Now, folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating, and it's just bullshit sometimes, folks. When we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there, whenever possible, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, this is one where if I have a Polish audience, or at least people who've experienced Polish Pepsi, I'd love to know your thoughts on it. Do you feel like my representation of it was accurate, or do you think I'm, again, I mean, maybe that one guy who commented was right. Maybe the trip from Poland to here, adversely affected it. Or is it just, that's just the way that Polish Pepsi is? Because I certainly don't know. But now that I think about it, I mean, I do have, Polish family members and stuff, so maybe I could ask them. But anyway,